What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Fate Extella. So we're moving on to finish Lancer's side story with his third and final stage. So, I think I unlocked some new slots for skills for him. No, I didn't. Okay, that's fine. I have pretty much everything I need for him. We're actually going to be going into this fight slightly under-leveled if you look. The estimate recommended level for this is level 16, and we're only going to be at level 12. But we'll level up a couple of times over the course of the fight. I usually try to get the servants in the side stories up to level 16 by buying their level ups with just using QP points or quantum particles. And I didn't do that for Ku. We'll have all his abilities unlocked, and he'll be more than ready for this. Huh, Archer actually complimenting him for a change. He doesn't seem too fond of that. That's my favorite line of Ku's in the game. Like I said in the previous video, I absolutely love the banter between those two, because it's something we never got to see before, the two of them playing in the same side. They were always adversaries, almost to a point, in the original visual novel, and in multiple of the routes. So this fight's going to be very similar to the ones we've done before on this stage. So we're going to be going up against Altera's servants, with Jeanne D'ark being the stage boss, and Iskander being the superpowered servant. So as you can see, we have a new ability here. I just showed off. So I've unlocked the ability where if we double tap, if we hit triangle standing still and hit it again, we'll be able to hurl our spear like we're juggling a baton twice. And that's very similar to his moveset in Fate Limited Codes, where you can do that multiple times to keep an enemy air juggled. So that's pretty cool that they added that. It's one of my favorite things to do as Ku. It's really powerful, very disruptive. So now we're getting to fight these large aggressors, these big bruiser enemies, and fighting these guys is it's not great as Ku. I mean, Ku is meant mainly for the other types of aggressor classes. He doesn't really have a lot of good options for this thing like Archer does. Archer absolutely destroys those things, but that if you hit square 4 times and then hit triangle, that zigzag maneuver we saw there, it's pretty difficult for any enemy really to dodge that, because he basically becomes incorporeal when he does it anyway. So that's a good move to use, I suppose. So as you can see on this stage, I've mentioned it before, but there are several sectors here that are worth a lot of points, including this rather small one that we're in right now with a plant that's worth 3 points, and then that one up there in the right corner next, or just under the one that Iskander is at, that is worth 4. So we should be able to capture the regime matrix pretty quickly. This should be a relatively short video compared to some of the other ones. Yeah, there we go. I love that move. It's so true to Kukulane's character. So hopefully we'll have this captured in a matter of minutes. We'll be able to move on to the next sector where Iskander is. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video I made announcing that Extella is coming to the Switch. For those of you who are just following along with the Let's Play and haven't watched that, definitely go check it out. I used some Ku's footage for that, as a matter of fact, because I was getting ready to make the first Ku video when I made that video. It was basically just saying that Extella is coming to the Switch and Grand Order is coming to the West, and everybody knows that. It's not really big news at this point. Something I didn't notice until I think the last video is when we use I don't know if I mentioned it or not, when we use a code cast, you can briefly see the master character appear there and cast it like she's popping out of the regalia to cast it at us, which again doesn't really make sense for the side stories because we don't have the regalia, but it's really cool nonetheless. So I have, I'm using the damage increase right now so I can get rid of these aggressors quickly, because I want to be done with this sector and move on to one of the more high value ones before Iskander jumps around too much. So we're going to go after Iskander right now. I want to make sure I get every key from my Null Phantasm before we take him on and before we take on Jeanne D'ark. Quite a few of the enemy forces are advancing on sectors we already have, but we should be able to outspeed them and kick Iskander out of this sector before they spoke too soon. We just lost one of them. Right as I'm talking about that, we just lose one of them, but that's fine. We can lose that sector that's worth 1 point and get back. Iskander moved again, so we're going to go track him down. As long as we can capture those that are worth the highest value, piddling around and getting these smaller sectors will be easy. Okay, let's take on Iskander. As I said, he's a super powered servant right now, so he has that red aura. Fortunately, though, we're faster, so we should be able to do some pretty good damage to him nonetheless. Dealing with these guys, these superpowered servants, has just become easier and easier as the game goes on. Kind of makes you wonder how Iskander and Ku would fare in a one-on-one fight. I feel like Ku is faster and has better one-on-one close quarters fighting capabilities, but Iskander has a lot of cheeky abilities that give him the advantage, such as flight on his ox chariot and the cows and things like that. So Iskander does have a lot of other advantages over Ku, and long range attacks with like the lightning bolts from his swords and things like that. And obviously, let's not forget his noble phantasm. So I feel like overall Iskander would probably win, but if you caught him off guard in a close quarters fight, Ku might have an advantage. I guess you could say the same thing about Iskander versus Diarmuid, but I feel like everybody I feel like Diarmuid unfortunately just loses outright to so many other servants, and it's really not fair because he's one of my favorite Lancers ever, really, and he had such a prolific role in Fate Zero, and made for such awesome fights, and he actually plays really well in Fate Limited Codes as well. That was a really nice addition to Fate Limited Codes, is the ability to play a Zero Lancer, but out of all the characters they picked for Limited Codes to have a Zero cameo, they made a good choice, but at the same time, he doesn't really add a whole lot of value to the game. He's a secret character, and then Ku is arguably the more abusive character anyway, so Ku is the most broken character in Fate Limited Codes. If you ever get the chance, you guys should definitely watch some videos on YouTube of Japanese arcade players playing Fate Limited Codes, because pro-level players of that game are really, really impressive. It's just a spectacle to watch, and I especially like to watch fights that are Archer versus Lancer, because Archer is a little bit more tricky to use, but if you know how to use him right, he's practically invincible. Well, not invincible, but he's very, very difficult to defeat because he has one of the best combos in the game. But Ku is just overall, he's the fastest servant, so he's overall the most powerful. But I really like Kirei in that game too. Kirei plays really well to me in that game. And I like Bazette. Bazette is easy for new players to pick up, I guess. Characters I don't really care for Ryder or Hercules in that one at all, or Berserker. And I don't care for Sakura as well, but all the other characters I like. Unfortunately, like I said, because it's a fighting game, I probably won't do a Let's Play of Fate Limited Codes there. Alright, so let's go after Iskander again. So this is the sector that he lured us to in the campaign, the main campaign, where we got here and then he spawned in all of those heavy bruiser aggressors. I feel like that was during Tamamo's campaign when that happened. Like, there was basically nothing here. We're like, oh, this is going to be easy to take this one. And then he just shows up or he just spawns those in, and it's like, well, that's unfortunate. But yeah, such was not the case here. Even after Iskander's left the area, we still have to clear the sector completely in order to capture the regime matrix. I think I have... Let me see. I need to find out how many keys in my Noble Phantasm I have. We're using our Moon Drive right now. I was going to say Moon Crux, but Moon Drive. And it's dealing obscene amounts of damage. I still have the one I can cast from my code cast, my formal wear, so I am fine with using it there. I'm almost to the end of this, and let's face it, beating Jeanne D'ark is going to be really easily, especially with my Noble Phantasm, so I can go ahead and spend that now and still have it for later. It's no big deal. You gotta kind of know, a lot of times in games like this, or especially in like RPGs, people tend to be really stingy with powerful abilities like that, but from what I found with a lot of Muso games, you can be pretty frivolous with your gauge, because you'll refill it quickly enough anyway. You'll probably refill it over the course of fighting a boss. So it's just not a lot of fun to preserve it for any amount of time. Okay, so here is a sector trap that is fire elemental. So as you can see, I just used the resist fire code cast, And I got a trophy for it, awesome! And that's how that works. So I really wanted to show that off in this video because, again, I really did a poor job earlier on in the Let's Play of showing how you defend against those sector traps, because earlier it just seemed like you just take automatic damage, and you kind of do. In Nero's campaign, for instance, Nero's like, "Master, get a code cast ready," and so you're like, "Oh, I guess I've got to heal, right?" No, you've got to cast a buff and prevent yourself from being damaged by that. So that's a really nice way to deal with those. I'm really glad that I have this particular formal wear for my master to wear for those particular code casts. It makes it to where, you know, I can have the strength boost. I have 4 heals on the left directional button there, and I have the fire resistance, which I can cast up to 6 times. It's probably the most common sector traps. So there are poison sector traps, there's electric ones, there's ice ones, and obviously the fire ones. So knowing how to dodge those is actually pretty good. And it's not the end of the world if you just take the damage and heal from it, because obviously we have the healing items that spawn in the environment along with our healing we can cast on our own. So, but obviously this is a very late game, very broken formal wear because it has the moon drive casting on the bottom directional button. So that's pretty broken. Obviously we wouldn't have that earlier on in the game when you're dealing with the sector traps in the main campaigns. Alright, so we dealt with the Iskander. Iskander is permanently done, so we're going to capture this one last sector here, and then we'll be able to fight the stage boss. So again, my strategy was pretty effective there by essentially only going after Iskander, and then once we're dealt with him, make sure I had control over the large value sectors. Now I just have to capture this one small one and we'll be done, assuming that that one in the middle doesn't get lost, which I think will be okay. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to show off how to deal with those sector traps. But again, this formal wear that I have equipped is very expensive and very late game, so it's not something you would have until completing the main campaigns. So, but we won't worry about that. You might see me buy some things. You might see me buy some things on screen during the 4th and final campaign, the Golden Poem Arc, which will be happening pretty soon. We just have 2 more side stories to get through after this video, and we'll be ending the Let's Play off with the Golden Poem Arc. So in terms of the story right here, this is pretty much the same, you know, Archer and Lancer's side stories pretty much work together side by side, where they are essentially disrupting the enemy team's servant activities while Nero is doing her thing. So we're basically trying to interfere with, oh god, all these stupid electrical enemies. I hate these things. We're just going to go ahead and use our moon drive. I hate that they stun you like that. You have to wait for the stun to go away in order to attack, or else you'll just flinch, which is so aggravating. And then they just hit you with it again. It's just my least favorite enemy in the game. Okay, if you're able to get your Extella maneuver off and just blow up every single enemy on screen, that's a pretty effective way of dealing with them. And then obviously I'm going to use my Noble Phantasm pretty soon, so they can suck it. Wow, I lost like half my health there from those stupid things. I really hate them. But yeah, like I said, the story implications, basically Ku is just trying to disrupt Altera's servants while Nero is hunting Altera herself, which, again, they make it just ambiguous enough to where we don't have to... Okay, so I had my gauge full, and I used that, and then I went ahead and used the down directional casting for it as well. So anyway, yeah, like I said, the story implications, they keep them just vague enough to where it doesn't get into any plot holes by a servant being somewhere where it shouldn't be, but they actually make it tie in pretty well to the main stories. Better than I thought they would, honestly. The fact that the side stories tie in so well and you're able to get some better dialogue and character development on these other playable servants is really nice, because I do have a significant gripe with how well they play, or how well they're developed, and how much dialogue they have outside of Altera's campaign and her servants, because they were played very well in the game. Alright, and as always, Jeanne D'ark was a pushover. Alright, thank you guys for watching so much. We're going to watch the final cutscene here, which is awesome. And I really enjoyed playing as Ku. He was one of the characters I was most looking forward to playing as in this game. And I hope you guys enjoy playing as him as much as I do.
You. 決着ってやつだな、旗の聖女さん。ま、返事は無理か。心臓をやられちまったらな。それとも何か？てめえ心臓の替えでも持ってきたか？いやはや哀れな旗持ちだ。猛犬ごときに噛み殺されるとは。Did
you bring a spare heart for her? I love Gilgamesh's comment there. Alright, Ku, now's the time to get your revenge. After how you ended in Fate's Day 9.
しつけがなっていないのは見ればわかるが。バカ言ってんじゃねえ。品位はともかく我慢は人一倍だ。人並みの忍耐ならとっくにその口に穂先を突っ込んでる。構えな。そのご大層な鎧ごと砕いてやる。ああ、勘違いするんじゃねえぞ。正々堂々の戦いをさせてやるって片手とかなんとか言ってたからよ。構えた瞬間に愉快愉快。身の程をわきまえぬ犬が吠え狂う。いいだろう。
Yeah, kick his ass, Ku. I think we all know how this fight will end, but it's nice for fan service. I'm really glad they did this. They know what we want to see in this game. They really do. They hit all the key notes there.